Hello everybody, Alex here, welcome to my finance and accounting education channel here on YouTube. Today we are going to talk about inflation. It's all over the news. We will find out if it's not clear from the news, and I think for many of you it's not really clear what inflation is, and we will find out exactly how is this macroeconomic phenomena affecting us, because there are two layers from my point of view on which this is affecting us, and also most importantly there are some ideas, some suggestions, some, let's say, tricks through which you can all try, and I'm also trying myself to tackle this problem. But before we jump right in, I'm going to ask you to subscribe to my channel, to hit the bell notification button, and you will never miss an update on my site. I do them quite regularly these days. You should expect videos from me on Tuesdays, Thursdays and Sundays. They are quite interesting, I think. That being said, let's jump right in. So today we are going to talk about inflation, our old friend. I'm saying that inflation is an old friend, okay, from 2 points of view. Many people think that if this topic or this subject is in the news, it's in the headlines and so on and so forth, it's something new which is happening right now, and it never happened before. And we will see that during this presentation that this is not quite true, but also because I have tackled the subject in the past, and I'm linking right now a video. Back then, let's say that it was not that much into detail tackle the inflation, mainly because I was also talking about two other phenomena, which are the deflation and the stagflation. However, this video can be also a good introduction to the more detailed presentation that I'm doing today. So let's just start with what is inflation. It's a general increase in prices of goods and services leading to reduction of your purchasing power, also devaluation of the currency in real terms. We use this consumer price index as another way of expressing inflation. The idea is that consumer price index is calculated based on let's say an average consumer in a market, which is, let's say, consuming 10% of his income is going on food, 25% is going on monthly utilities, electricity bills and so on and so forth, heating, gas and so on. I don't know, another 15% is going on rent expenses, 5% on clothing, till it adds up somehow to 100%. And you have this average consumer in a market, in a country, let's say in the United States or in Europe, in any country. However, for yourself, this may or may not be that relevant. It depends on how close is your consumption profile to this average consumer profile. And I'm giving here a simple example. For example, if in a country you have an average 2% inflation, but let's say for the rental expenses or for the rents are increasing with 10%, if by various reasons your rental expenses are making up to 60% of your monthly budget, let's say that you are not making that much money, you have a large family, you also have a large apartment or a large house, and let's say that the average consumer profile has only 10% rental expenses in his monthly budget, meaning that many have a property, so they are owners of their homes or apartments. Just very few people are renting. Most of the people that are renting houses and apartments which are smaller than yours, and so on and so forth. Let's say your inflation rate might not be 2%. Or close to 2%, it might actually go closer to 10%, because in your basket of monthly expenses, this rental expenses very significant. So you see, it might differ from individual to individual, and it differs as much as your consumer profile is different from the average consumer. It's considered to be a positive economic phenomena, especially if it's at low level, so 1 maybe 2% per year. Why? Because that means that the demand is slightly higher than the offer, so it's larger than the offer in the market, which leaves room, of course, for offer increases, meaning for investments, for producing more, and so on and so forth. So for economic growth, that's why it's considered a slightly positive economic phenomena. However, on a long term, it can be very, very bad, and especially for the individuals, and we will see exactly why in just a few short seconds. I've told you that it's an old friend, actually an enemy, and its inflation is not new. It was always with us, even in the economies which are considered to be very, very mature and stable and developed. Only that we are conditioned by interested parties. By interested parties, I'm naming here, of course, politicians, national banks, employers. Everybody is trying to convince you that there is no inflation, or that it's so low you can just ignore it. However, it was just like from my point of view, like this Chinese water torture. Or the experiment with the frog. If you throw a frog in boiling water, it will jump right out, because it will sense immediately the danger and the discrepancies and the high temperature, and it will try to escape. And this is exactly what's happening right now with the very high inflation rates that are starting to expand all over the place, and we've seen 6% in the United States. Europe has a problem with energy prices especially, which is also going in other sectors, because more or less energy is being used, so gas, electricity, so everything is being used in most of the sectors of our economic life. But if you are just keeping the said frog in water, and you increase the temperature gradually up to 100 degrees, so the boiling point of water, the frog will not, let's say, feel the danger immediately, and it will stay in the water till the point when you will get your boiled frog, just as you intended in the first place. So this is exactly what's happening with lower inflation each and every year. You're let's say that you are getting boiled slowly but surely. If you are told that there is absolutely no problem and that the inflation is anyway very, very low, even in these stable economies on longer periods, so if you wait long enough and you increase the temperature of the water till you reach the boiling point, it will take its toll. However, the current soaring inflation, it's not caused, just to understand what's going on in the news, it's not caused by problems on the, let's say, on the demand side. Many are blaming the national banks, okay, the Fed in the United States, in Europe, the European Central Bank, and so on and so forth. Many are blaming these national banks for printing money during the COVID pandemic, and sometimes giving through the governments, giving them for free, and so on. However, I don't think that the demand is that much larger than it was before the pandemic situation. However, the problems are on the supply side because of the measures that governments took all over the world. Let's say that investments were cancelled or postponed, and this is the case, for example, for oil and gas. The supply chains suffered, jobs were lost, capacities were reduced, the production capacities were also reduced, and so on and so forth. I mean, nobody owns anybody anything, and if They couldn't produce and sell the products any longer during the pandemic. They just closed the production facilities, and now we get the benefits of a reduced offer. And so it's not, let's say, an inflation caused by the demand side. So how is it? Because I said that there are these two layers or two levels from my point of view, and ways through which inflation is affecting everybody. So the first one is the income, so your flux of money. If you get a fixed salary, and this is also known to happen in the developed economies, especially in Central Europe and so on and so forth, you get a fixed salary and you lose substantial chunks of your purchasing power if the salary is never indexed with this inflation rate. The best thing through which, so the best situation through which you can, let's say, protect yourself is have an inflation indexation clause in your contract. And I'm saying that even if the economy has unions and you have this collective bargaining and agreements, sometimes even these agreements of having general increases, salary increases, will not cover for the inflation. So don't expect that much from this side also. And other ways through which you can somehow try to protect your income from inflation is to search for passive income sources, so for alternative sources, to diversify, and in the end you just need to change your job or your employer if you see no other ways. And the second level at which this inflation, this phenomenon is affecting you, is the wealth. Of course, the already accumulated savings and investments. Of course, the advice I'm always giving is that you need to invest with returns which are higher than the inflation rate. If they are equal with the inflation rate, you will just maintain your wealth. If they are below inflation rate, you will lose a part of your wealth. And I'm posting this introductory video from a series called Basics of Personal Finance, which is somehow developing a lot of concepts for basic finance, going through also through how to invest $1,000 or euros, how to invest $10,000 or euros, and also tackling some of the well-known and available asset classes in which you can invest. And I'm also saying that because I know that most of the people have money, still work a lot with banks and still have a lot of money in the banks. The best possible, or okay, after keeping your money in your home, which is also dangerous from many other points of view, the best way through which you can lose money is to keep the money in a bank, in a current account or in a deposit account. 99% of the cases you'll get an interest rate which is real negative, meaning that it's below the inflation rate. For example, nowadays in the United States, because the Fed is not increasing the interest rate, you have this 6% inflation rate, and the interest rates for deposits are somewhere under 1%, so for sure you are going to lose a lot of money. Then there is a simple numeric example from Austria, which is otherwise known as a very mature economy, stable, developed country, and so on and so forth. When you are being told that actually inflation is not a problem, I'm having here a horizon of almost 13 years, and two tables. If you look at the table at top, the bottom line will give you this consumer price index. You see you have price increases which go between, let's say, 0.5, that was for 2009. I think the largest one was in 2011, so only 2 years later, of 3.30. However, it's staying so between, let's say, 140, 150. Sometimes you get 0.9% and so on and so forth. However, it's a given. It's always low inflation, but it's a given. And the idea is that if you look on the second line, you will see that between 2009 and 2000, so if we are taking into consideration up till 2020, so it will be the base for 2021, you get a 22.62% accumulated inflation. Meaning that if you had a 2,000 euro salary in 2009, in order to maintain your purchasing power, you will have to have in 2021 a 2,452 euro salary. If you just follow the colors, you will see that for 2021 we are looking only at cumulated inflation till the end of 2020, because till the end of 2021 we don't know how much the inflation will be, and usually these salary increases are based on previous inflation rates. And on the bottom you have the, let's say, the mirror image, by saying how much, so if you have 2,000 euros in 2021, how much you would have in 2009 would be 1,631. That means that if you got absolutely no salary increases, and you are making the same 2,000 euros now as in 2009, you are actually making in real terms 1,631. So you see, you almost lost 400 euros from your salary, based on this very, very low inflation, which is annual and which you should ignore, because some have the interest of you not knowing what that is, how it works, and making you think it simply doesn't exist. As a final consideration, why is it this happening right now? It's simple, because it seems that the central banks are more worried about economic downturn, so not having an economic recovery after the pandemic at least. They are more concerned about that than they are concerned about the inflation. Then you will always hear this inflation spiral argument, which is that a continuous rise in prices that is sustained by the tendency of wage increases and cost increases to react on each other. So it's very simple. The companies are increasing the prices because they claim some resources are more expensive or something like that. Then the consumer are getting higher prices, and then they demand for salary increases, and then the cost of the companies increases once again, and then the companies increase their prices, and so on and so forth, and you get this spiral, so this inflation cycle. The idea is that from economic point of view, the explanation is correct, the phenomenon is true. However, it's used as an argument against salary increases, and I'm saying that from this point of view is nowhere near fair or moral, because that means that you are always expecting the employees to take the hit from the inflation, and never the companies, where the companies could also stop the inflation by just not increasing the prices and somehow taking in the cost increases if possible, or finding alternatives. How you can find another way to fight back, so if it's not about wealth, if it's not about income, you can also fight back by just slamming the suppliers that are increasing the prices, by just canceling your contracts, or finding finding alternative sources, finding alternative products, and so on and so forth. Most of the times you have alternatives. Okay, it's easier in some cases. For example, you cannot just change your rental apartment every 1 year because the rent gets indexed with the inflation, but you can change your mobile phone company, you can change your electricity supplier, you can change your gas supplier, you can change the supermarket where you are buying your food, and so on and so forth. And this is another way of fighting back and showing the suppliers that we will not accept this continuous price increase, which is nowhere near reflected in the salaries increase. The idea is that if you are not concerned about this topic and you ignore it, you will just get like the previously described frog. You will just get slowly but surely boiled in 10, 20, 30 years, and so on and so forth. That would be it about inflation for today. My name is Alex Petrescu. Thank you for watching me. You can support me by liking this video if you liked it, by commenting if you have something to add, by sharing it with somebody that you might think can be interested about this topic, the inflation. I think we should all be interested about it. I mean, it's affecting all of us. Also, most important, do not forget to subscribe to my channel, to hit the bell notification button, and to continue to watch my videos, and you will get updates on my site on Tuesdays, Thursdays and Sundays. Below these videos you also have links. You can create an eToro account where you can trade without a commission or a fee, which is always a saving no matter how often you are trading. You can get 2 free audibles from Amazon, or you can join the Kindle program and get electronic books, but you will also need a Kindle device. Last but not least, there is a wish list also from Amazon with hardware and software items which can help me improve the quality of my videos, and will also hopefully be beneficial for you because you will get better videos on my side. However, this wish list says the most inconvenient from financial point of view for you. The easiest way through which you can support me is to hit the bell notification button and to continue to watch my videos and to subscribe to my channel, of course. Once again, thank you for your time and your patience today. My name is Alex Petrescu, and I look forward to presenting to you with the next occasion. Goodbye.